Good Sunday morning to you all. We got some big news updates out there. Some things are changing for the world. We got more tariff announcements coming out this early this week. We already had a bunch go out. This is going to shake up the markets and has got the world kind of a bit on edge. We got more updates on the Texas floods. Not good news there, but we'll cover it nonetheless. Major political news as the America Party has been formed. We're going to hear about what their strategy is and how it's going to impact the political landscape. It's potentially going to be a very big deal. Tucker Carlson interviews the president of Iran, and internet outages out there spreading. We're getting reports from you guys, more reports from you guys about that. Egg discoloration, we have some answers for some of you guys concerned about that. And spices, we got a shortage of spices. And we got a whole bunch of other reports coming from you guys from all over. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in. Make sure you use the word update in your comment if you want to get it into the rest of the folks. That does get it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. If you have an IRA, 401k, and you want to get into something safer than just stocks and bonds, which I'm a little concerned about right now. If you want to get into something safer, Jonathan and his team can walk you through it. You can see all the fees and see if it's a good fit for you and your family. There'll be a link at the end of the video for you to find out more, or you can just find it down in the pinned comment down below. If you do call them directly or reach out to them through the website, make sure you mention this channel so you do get your setup fee waived. It will save you hundreds of dollars, okay? So make sure you mention the Poplar Report or Steve Poplar. All right, Texas flash flooding updates coming in now has claimed, unfortunately, 43 lives. Now, this is according to the Kerr County Sheriff. They're still searching, but hope of finding more survivors is diminishing as the hours go by. Not good news. It's a horrible tragedy. Some of the videos out there of the flooding and how fast the water rose is just hard to fathom, especially in some of those dry areas. They just got doused with so much rain, and people were just not prepared for it. Friends, please, 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 if you're anywhere near a lowland or could potentially get flooded by a large-scale event, please have plans. Please have plans about what you're going to do and how you're going to protect yourselves. And if you're driving, please, please, please do not drive into water unless you absolutely know how deep it is. President Trump has announced that he has signed 12 more letters to countries out there that have not made a trade deal with the United States. The July 9th deadline is approaching, and he is warning these countries. He's already sent out 10 letters back on Friday. Apparently 12 more are going out tomorrow. This is going to be round two. We already saw the stock market take a big nosedive when the previous tariffs were announced. Well, he's going to put those tariffs back on again. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think people think are going to happen, right? So just be prepared for a little bit of a rough week this week on the stock market. Wildfires across Europe. Crete, where the UK has a major air base, Germany and Turkey all on fire. They have a major heat wave out there. It's dried things out, and they cannot contain these wildfires. So it's not just California. There are environmental activists that like to set fires in a lot of places in Europe. So Elon Musk has announced, he is the world's richest man, has announced he is starting the America Party. That was something he threatened. If the bill got passed, the next day he would start the America Party, and he has done so. So as the richest man in the world, he can fund this thing. Now he's saying that they will focus on just 2 to 3 Senate seats in the United States and 8 to 10 House districts. Apparently, he's not trying to become a major player. He wants to just get some swing votes in the Senate and in the House so that they have leverage on stopping things or moving things forward. This is interesting because most political parties aren't funded and run by one man. Now, a politician can have great influence over a party, like President Trump has, or the Clintons, or, other people like that. But the founder and puppeteer of a political party, this could get interesting. We'll keep an eye on it, and we will keep you updated as we get more information on that. Tucker Carlson traveled to Iran and interviewed the president of Iran. You can view the interview up on Twitter. That's interesting stuff. Something that the mainstream media just won't do anymore. Mainstream media used to interview just about anybody. They interviewed Arafat how many times? But not anymore. Now they just basically just write down what they're told by their handlers. They criticize everything that Trump says, no matter what he says, and they don't ever do any actual journalism anymore, it seems. Major internet disruptions in Iran happening again yesterday. An almost 50% drop in network connectivity. Could be another major hacking attack, or the government could be cracking down on what it sees to be as seditious discussions, or if they need to get control of protests in their country, they have been known to shut down the internet. Other countries do that too, just not free ones. Zach says, we have lived near the woods for over 40 years. We have always had bees, and they always built a nest near or around our home. I only saw 2 bees, and we are now in July. We noticed a big decline in bees here in Massachusetts. So we're getting more reports about that. So all the way up in Massachusetts, down to Texas, and out to Oregon, and up into Canada. John says, yesterday there were no hamburger buns at Smart and Final in California. The bread is locally baked usually, so it's local regional bakeries. So that is not so much that they're out of flour or anything like that. It's more of a logistical issue. Solitaire says, yesterday at the gas station, someone from France was trying to get a 72-hour fishing license here in Minnesota. The license and whatever else he was getting on it was amounted to $250. The kid seemed surprised that it was that much, but paid it anyway. Minnesota fishing licenses are only $26 a year for residents, and out of state around $60. But how much for international? That's a question. Madam K says, Northeast Wisconsin, spices have been low here for the last 6 to 9 months. At Dollar Tree, Dollar General, local store, and even 3 Walmarts. These stores are in Shawano, New London, and Appleton East. Also, canning jars are expensive and getting hard to find. So if you got canning jars, hoard them. But how much is a canning jar really worth if you don't have the lids? And that's something that I've seen a lot of preppers, a lot of preparedness, a lot of homestead people don't have enough lids. Please make sure you got enough lids. Anyway, I'm done with my sermon. My local store is still scarily low on most goods. Has anyone seen tropical fruit in the cans? So that's a question out to you guys. Make sure you use the word update on that. Have you seen issues with tropical fruit, canned tropical fruit? Red Dog says, Rhode Island. I haven't seen hardly any bugs out this year and 0 bees. Local Walmart continues to have issues with food here. That's Rhode Island. Kimberly, I live in coastal Oregon. We are a large family and we eat a lot of eggs. For about 2 months now, I've noticed when I'm hard boiling eggs, the whites are coming out a light tea color. When I try to make egg salad, the yolks don't want to crumble. The yolks have a rubbery texture to them. I live 3,000 miles away from the lady in Florida who has noticed the same issues. This is significant. Is anyone else seeing this with the store-bought eggs? We got an answer to that coming up. Denise says, long-term shortages with spices and herbs have been going on since the very beginning of the COVID crisis. there are still sporadic and permanent shortages going on for several, both spices and herbs. This has been going on in Western Michigan, Grand Haven, at the Myers store, and others. About the eggs. One of the eggs from a 5-dozen case with Walmart in Grand Haven, Michigan, when cracked open, the white looked normal. The yolk was a solid chunk of mold. So eggs can go bad on you, that's for sure. But it just seems to be happening more these days, and a lot of you guys are sharing with that. The discolorations, eggs going bad. What I've gotten here is I've gotten a lot of eggs that from Walmart that they're cracked on the bottom, and you don't notice that until you grab the egg and pull up on it. It's like stuck to the bottom because the yolk or the white has come out and has dried to the bottom of the little carton. And my last carton, I think I lost like 4 eggs out of that. They just smashed it or what, I don't know. Definitely not good smelling, even though they were refrigerated. Rebecca says, North Central Kentucky, big decrease in bees here too. No shortage in milk, but it's going sour before the due date. Doesn't clabber up bad, just goes sour. Pat says, Pat, yesterday, in a long line at our local bank, when we were depositing a check, this is before the 4th, we heard tellers informing customers who were seeking cash that there was no cash available at that particular branch. This wasn't late in the day either. It was only an hour after the bank opened. No cash at a bank. You kind of have to almost look at them and go, then why do you exist, right? If they're not receiving cash and depositing cash, what's the point of a local branch? Like, that's kind of the point, isn't it? So go to a grocery store and walk in and they're like, we don't have any food today. You would be like, you should fix that because that's why you exist. Angelum says, Frontier Internet in parts of Ohio are down, and we were able, and we were to be up yesterday, but still no internet and no updates on it. So, Ohio, internet issues, Frontier. Silly Wallaby says, that's a great name. I started keeping my eyes open to the bug and bee situation. I live in the Four Corners area of New Mexico. I have noticed that there are not as many wasps around, and I have not seen any bees. Also, there are not as many flies as usual. So we're all the way down south into New Mexico there. So you look across the United States, and we're seeing most of the United States is reporting the same kind of thing. No bees, and a lot less just insects, flies, mosquitoes, everything. Cranky old lady says, unable to get morphine for 2 months at the lowest oral dose. Looks like manufacturers are discontinuing the high-dose oral morphine, so I guess the need is being pushed down to a lower dose, which would mean more pills per patient, and they just don't have the production to do that. Also, shortage of injectable morphine used in hospitals. This is 30 miles northwest of Boise, Idaho, but more bees than I have seen in 5 years. So Boise, Idaho is where all the bees have gone, or, well, with a few reports coming in of scattered concentration of bees, perhaps someone, neighbor or something like that, has some hives that have been put in or something like that. Or maybe they're just far enough away from whatever's causing the bees to die. So, I don't know. Maybe there's no 5G towers up there or something like that. I don't know. I'm not saying it's 5G, but whatever it is, I think I can probably say that it's probably something to do with what the government is doing or some chemical that the government approved. Is it safe to say that? I feel like that's a safe comment to make. Either a chemical that they approved or something that the government is doing. Brisbane Daddy says, Waynesburg, Ohio. Walmart has no bananas. We've been getting spotty outages of bananas across the U.S. For bee pollinators, plant lamb's ear I was at a friend's house. He had it planted, and there were hundreds of bumblebees and other pollinators all over the blooms. And it's a perennial. I'm going to plant some for sure. So if you want to check out lamb's ear, that might be useful to you guys. Okay, an answer here on the eggs for you. Joy says, regarding the tea-colored eggs, eggs that are cooked too long can turn this color because of a reaction between the sulfur in the egg white and the iron in the egg yolk, producing a ferrous sulfide when heat is applied for a long time. So if you cook too long, the yolk and the egg makes a chemical reaction. This usually happens more often in cold stored eggs than fresh eggs. It's also what causes yolks to sometimes have a green outside when hard boiled. Also, eggs are porous and can absorb minerals from the surrounding food and water. It can tint the whites, such as boiling with potatoes and eggs together. If it looked that way when the eggs are raw, that is a result of the pigment in the feed or high levels of certain vitamins in the feed, such as riboflavin. This type of feed is usually used to increase egg production. While the whites are generally safe to eat, they will probably have an off taste. So those seem like pretty legitimate answers out there, friends. So hopefully that answers some of your questions if you're seeing that. Paul says, flies do pollinate your garden. I have had many flies for the past few years do pollination on my garden. You have to have plants that the flies like to land on, and they will go from flower to flower in your garden and pollinate your entire garden. Flies like onion chives, especially when they're flowering, or when your carrots are flowering for seeds. Flies like the white flowers, and the bees like the purple flowers. So hopefully that is helpful to you guys as well. But if you have critical things, you might have to hand pollinate these things. If you have apple trees, or if you have crops that are just having a real tough time getting pollinated, you may, just to be safe, want to pollinate them yourself. Get yourself some Q-tips, not for your ears, but for pollinating the plants themselves. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, once again, that's on the pinned comment. Make sure you mention this channel so they waive your setup fee. If you want to reach out to them directly, tap right there and fill out the form, and they'll get in contact with you. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.